Hey guys, it's Tatiana coming to you from my office space here in Panama. This is an apartment that Stefan and I rented just to use as an office temporarily because we're still waiting for our home to get done. So yay for me, because this is the first time I'm here and I've been able to step away from mom life, and I'm excited to have this time to create this video for you guys, because I asked you guys a few weeks ago on Instagram, what are your questions? And I'm finally getting around to answering them in this video. So today we're going to be answering things like, why did you decide to move to Panama? Did you move for tax purposes? How's the house coming along? How did you become financially free? What are you invested in? How come you don't sell on Amazon anymore? How do you manage being a mom and entrepreneur? How is becoming a mom different than you expected? How did you get into such great shape after baby? I can't believe how many questions I got about this. And how did you prevent stretch marks? So we're going to answer some mom questions as well. And yeah, lots of questions here. So we'll see if I get to all of them or not. I'll try and timestamp these questions for your convenience. Okay, so first, and let's start off with the first question here. So why did you decide to move to Panama, and are you living there permanently? Okay, so Stefan and I decided to move to Panama back in 2018. So that's when we relinquished our Canadian residency and we took up residency here in Panama. Why did we do that? Well, we knew that we didn't want to live permanently in Canada. Canada is beautiful. It is my favorite place, but only for 4 months of the year. Where we live, that's when it's nice and sunny, when it's just so enjoyable. There's so much to do. It's so, so beautiful. But the rest of the year, it's either gray skies, raining, cloudy, just not the weather that we like. I know some people like that. For us, it actually makes us feel a little bit more sad, want to stay inside, don't want to do as much, and just don't feel as motivated. So we knew that we wanted to get out of there. And because we have both these online businesses, we have the ability to live anywhere in the world. So where do we want to live in the world? So it was a little bit fun. We're trying to pick our place and we get to choose where we want to go. We originally thought we were going to move to California. We spent many years spending a lot of time in California. California is so big, so we spent a lot of time in different areas, spending months in for example, Malibu. We tried Venice. We tried all sorts of Orange County, different areas to discover where we like to live, what suits us most. And then we came to realize, actually not really that into California anymore. It changed a lot. We spent 3 years going there, and from the time that we started going there to, the time that we decided we no longer felt like we vibed with it, it changed. But I think what more happened is we changed. So we changed a lot during that time. Our value system changed. Before, California was really attracted to us for the business opportunities, for all the connections that you can make. There's a lot of networking opportunities, great place for if you want to be an influencer. It's just so easy there because there's just so much going on. But then our value system changed around what we want to do and what we think is important to us, and success was no longer on the top of the list. And we started to see things differently. When your value system shifts, you start to see things differently, even if things are not changing. And so then we saw the same environment and we looked at it and we just felt less attracted to it. We felt less relatable, we felt like we didn't relate to it as much. In fact, it was almost a little bit, for me, I felt repelled by it. And it felt very materialistic, and it felt very, it just felt like too much for me, and I just wanted to be in somewhere more calm. I wanted to be more in a place where I can enjoy nature, where I can be immersed and hear the birds and be near the ocean and see a lot of green and bright, vivid colors. And you get all that in California, but it's just so packed as well. And I'm a firm believer that, you can't judge a place and just stereotype it and just say all the people are like this there, because I believe that you're going to attract into your life, who you are. And, but it it didn't suit us anymore. So we moved on, and then we thought Arizona was going to be the place. So we went real estate hunting in Arizona, and then we just felt like it's too dry. We need to be near the ocean, and so we landed on Hawaii, and Hawaii is just this fabulous place. It's just magical. It's just magical. It's pure magic, and I love it so much. I love the ocean. I love turtles. I love everything about it, and so we were really excited to move to Hawaii. But we knew that we wanted to live on the beach. That's been the vision. That's what we put on the vision board 9 years ago. We knew that after all the traveling, that when we were ready to buy a house, we wanted it to be our dream home. We didn't just want to like move into any old home. We wanted to move into our dream home, and that home was going to be on the beach. And so we looked at Hawaii, we looked at the real estate, and it was really hard to find something. We found places on the beach, but the thing is that like you're on the beach, but then your front yard is like on a highway. So there weren't really any communities. You didn't have a neighborhood. It didn't feel like I wanted a neighborhood vibe. I wanted my kids to be able to run outside, and I could, let them run outside and they'd be safe and there's not a highway there. And also just having that community feel. So we found that hard to find in Hawaii. And then of course, if you want a really amazing house on the beach, you're looking at a very high price tag. And so for us, because we didn't just want any home, we wanted a really modern home. You would get like a really nice house in Hawaii, but it oftentimes would be modern. So you'd have to do a lot of renovations to get it to where you want it to be. Okay, having said all that, we end up coming back to Panama because we during this entire time we've been traveling. We've been in and out of Panama so many times, traveling around the world for years, right? Then we finally come back to Panama, still not planning to live here permanently, but we have residency here, so we stay here for a few months. And we discovered this other area of Panama. Prior to this, we had been living in the city. And the city of Panama, it's not my vibe at all. It's busy, a lot of honking. There's no nice sidewalks to take a walk with your dog. The infrastructure is just not good. And so I would never want to live permanently in the city. But this time we decided, let's try on the coast. Let's try the west of Panama. And we discovered this beach area, this beach community where there's all these resorts, and we discovered this place called Buenaventura. It's a beach resort, but there's a ton of residents here. It's actually a golf course. And it's amazing. We were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this has been here this whole time and we didn't know about it. So we come here, we're like, this is what we've been looking for. There's so much to do here. If you're an active person like us, you've got the golf, you've got swimming, you've got the ocean, you've got the rec center, which is fabulous for tennis, paddle, beautiful swimming pool. There's horses. There's a horse stable here for horseback riding. I love horseback riding. There's a zoo here for kids. There's a marina, so you can get a boat, you can get jet skis, you can have a lot of fun. You can get your house on the beach, right on the beach, where your backyard is literally the beach. And it's a community. So there's like cul-de-sacs and neighborhoods, and you see kids riding their bikes, and it's a resort too. So you literally are living on a resort. You can go to restaurants here, there's shopping. It's so amazing what they've done, and we're just so impressed by the standards that they have here and just how well kept everything is. And this sounds like a whole pitch for this community, but it really just checked everything off. And then we thought, well, what the heck? Let's move to Panama permanently. And so this ended up becoming our forever place. So now we're building our dream home on the beach. And it worked out better than we expected because we never thought we were going to build a home. We thought we'd be able to move into a home and then slowly do renovations to get it to the standard that we want to live in. But instead, we were able to find a place and actually build on the beach from scratch. And so the home is going to be it's modified for us. We've made so many modifications to it to fit what our needs are going to be, the vision that we have for our family. We have things being built like infrared sauna, cold plunge, the rooms are all customized. Everything's been modified for us, and so it feels so exciting because it's really just this vision, this creation that we have in our minds that is being manifested, and in a couple months we'll be able to move into it. So that's our permanent place. So that's where we're going to be spending most of the year. And it's right on the beach, and we're really excited about it. But we also have 2 homes in Canada. So we have a home in Vancouver and a home in Sun Peaks. And so Sun Peaks is a mountain location where we can do skiing, we can do dirt biking, we can go hiking. So that's that. And then Vancouver is in the city, the home in the city. So we have a city location, a mountain location, and a beach location. And then like the next on the list is a lake location. So we have all that variety. And so that's really exciting for us. And then of course we rent those places when we're not using them so that we can make some income from them. The Sun Peaks places, we primarily got it to be invested because we're going to spend like a year in it, if that. So that's kind of the story of all that. And yes, originally the decision to move to Panama was more for the tax purposes. Stefan happened to already have a company here, and he knew people who moved here. So that was why Panama was on our radar, because when you know someone personally who's done that move, it helps you. It makes you feel more comfortable with it. They give you advice. And so in Panama, it's really great, beneficial for tax purposes. In Canada, we were not feeling motivated because we were, high income earners. So 50% of our income was getting taxed every year from our businesses. And so when you're working 6 months of the year in your business to just pay the government, it's quite demotivating. And we were feeling like, well, we're not even really spending much time in Canada with all the traveling that we're doing. So Panama is great because you don't get taxed on foreign income. And also you'll see like a lot of Canadians here, a lot of retired people here. There's a lot of benefits for retirees as well. So, that's how Panama ended up happening. And I'm very excited about it too, because this is a Spanish speaking country. And I think for me, it's important that Lucas is immersed in a different culture. I think it will help him to, I believe that yes, you learn in school, but really the biggest learnings are through life experience and traveling. And I think that being in 2 different cultures will be very valuable for him. And he'll also learn Spanish, which is a very powerful language, as well as English. So there's just a lot of reasons that we ended up making this decision. And so far we have no regrets. Of course, moving away from family is difficult, but our home is really going to be a beautiful place where we hope that our family will come and enjoy some time. And it's, it's a vacation for them. It's like you're coming to a resort and you're going to enjoy yourself. So it's great. Okay, next question is, how is the new house coming along? So briefly, it'll be done in probably a couple months now. It's been I think 2 years now since we originally started the project. But they're doing a great job. I'm going to be publishing, maybe I already published it, a video tour of the house as it is right now. And then I'll publish one last video once it's done and we have all our furniture, and then I'll do a really great big tour. So it's coming along. Things have been going smoothly. We made a lot of modifications to the original floor plans of the house. So we did that really early on. So I think that helped to not cause any delays with the project, because oftentimes what people do is as the project goes on, they say, oh, I want this and change that, and that causes more delays. But we were very clear about what we wanted early on, and I think that was a big help. Okay, the next question is, how did you become financially free? So this is a bit of a loaded question. So for those of you guys who are more new to my channel, I'll try and give you a brief bio. So I started my first online business almost 10 years ago, and trying different things to make money online. And I made a little bit of money at first, and I started with publishing books, and then discovered Amazon and did retail arbitrage and different things like that, and did private labeling and had a few different products. And then I landed on this product called a waist shaper. And I decided to build a brand out of this product. So I built a brand called Luxe Curves. And it was a slow start. It was not easy. There was a lot of work involved. But once I laid the foundation for that business, which is the hardest part. And this is when most people drop off, because there's a lot of challenges that come up when you're laying the foundation for a new business. But once that was laid, then things got a lot easier. So I went from, not making any money in the business to now personally becoming a millionaire at age 24. And then by 25, I was a multimillionaire. When I first started, I didn't pay myself because I was reinvesting all the money back into my business. And then once I had more than enough money in the business accounts where I was like, I don't know what to do with all this money, then I started to pay myself. And when I started to pay myself, I did not just leave that money in my bank account. That's too much money to just leave in your bank account, not working for you. It's actually depreciating in value because of inflation. So yes, you want to have some money in your bank account for security. But for me, I realized, I got to invest this money. And so a lot of people will reinvest all of their money back into their business. But I was smart about this. For me personally, I realized that's very risky to reinvest everything back into my business. I do believe that I am my number one investment because I do believe in myself. I believe in my creativity. I believe in what I can do. I believe in my ability to learn new things. I believe in my ability to adapt to challenges and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's a key as well. You really have to have confidence in yourself and realize how great of an investment you are. But having said that, I knew that there are other ways that I should be intelligent about investing my money so that my money can work for me. So that's when I got into investing into the stock market. And I started off investing in individual companies. So I saw things like, okay, there's like Tesla and Facebook. And these are these huge trillion-dollar companies. They have the greatest minds behind them. They've got thousands of employees. They've got so much money backed up. I'm willing to bet on you. In fact, I'm willing to bet on your company continuing to grow in the next 10 years over my company continuing to grow in the next 10 years. So here, take my money. And so I started investing in individual companies, but then, I realized how it is still a little bit more risky investing in individual stocks. So I started investing into index funds, particularly the S&P 500. And so I have a video on this topic, but just briefly for you guys, the S&P 500 is an index fund of 500 of the best companies in the United States. I invest in one fund, and my money is diversified across these 500 companies. Diversification is the key to investing. That is how you don't put all your eggs in one basket. That is how if one company plummets, that's okay. You're still got all these other companies who are succeeding, and the company that plummets is replaced by another successful company. So I started investing in that. And then I also started investing into dividend-paying stocks. Now this is key. When I learned about dividends, I realized that, wow, dividends, this is the real passive income. So for many years, I've been excited about passive income streams because this allows me to play. It allows me to go to the beach. I was traveling while building my business. And so I'd be able to go and do and have fun things. And, while I'm playing, my business is generating revenue. While I'm sleeping, someone in a different country is buying my products. I was really excited about that idea. But there was nothing that's truly 100% passive the way you get money from dividend-paying stocks. That's truly passive. So there's some companies that will pay you a percentage of earnings every quarter. And that's just income that you earn, and you don't do anything for that. And then what I did is I set up a drip, so all that money would get reinvested into the stock. Now, why is this important? This is important because now I have enough dividend-paying stocks that every month I generate significant revenue from these dividend-paying stocks. So this is 100% purely passive income that I don't have to work for. I don't need to maintain a physical products business. I don't need to invest my time into coaching people or anything like that. This is just 100% passive. I don't even look at my stock portfolio as much as I should. I don't even want to tell you how infrequently I look at it because it's probably a bad reflection. But it's money that I know is coming in every single month or quarter. And it's not always consistent. It depends on interest rates. But when interest rates are high, it's really great. And this is now money that is security for me. And so this money is really the way I see my financial freedom, is that yes, there's money. I also sold my business. So at a certain point, I grew my business. It was doing $500,000 in revenue per month, doing really well. And I was tempted to continue growing the brand, tempted to continue to build it, because I thought, okay, well, maybe I can take it to a $10 million figure. But I realized that, like, okay, settle down, Tatiana. What do I want right now in my life? And I knew that I really wanted to start a family. I knew that I wanted a break. I worked really hard and I just needed a break. I was feeling burnt out. And so, as tempting as it was, I decided that it was the appropriate time to exit. And so I sold the business. And so I had a really great 7-figure exit. And while that money is great that I took from the exit, that's not going to sustain me for the rest of my life. But if I use that money to make more money, it can. So I invested a great portion of that money into my stock investments. And that's how now I earn really great income from my dividend paying stocks. And then also, I'm invested in real estate. Steph and I have 3 properties, and yeah. So where am I getting with this? So, if you can work all your life and you can make really great income every single year, but as long as you're continuing to work, you're never going to feel this sense of security, the sense of financial freedom, because it's dependent on your time investment. It's dependent on your work output. But the way Stefan and I feel is because he's also very successful. So the two of us combined, we really are, set for life because of both of us joining forces. And so when we look at how this is going to continuously be reinvested every single year, investments grow and grow and grow, it really is enough for us to be financially free. So now we get to enjoy living and creating whatever we want to create from a place of inspiration, from a place of I get to do what I want to do, and I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm creating this video right now because I want to do it, because I enjoy content creation, I enjoy answering questions, I enjoy this YouTube, it's fun for me. It's not because I need to do it for the money. And that's obviously a very different place than when we both started. When we both first started, we were doing it out of desperation, and now we get to do it out of inspiration. So we're very grateful to be in this position, but it didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just fall into our laps like we set ourselves up and we had always planned for this. This was always part of the vision. And so a big part of that is, again, not just taking what you earn from your company and paying yourself and then up-leveling your lifestyle, living big. Like, this is something that makes me cringe. I have friends, I have colleagues that their businesses grow and they do really well, and all of a sudden they're like really up-leveling their lifestyles dramatically overnight, and they've got the cars and the boats and the house and, spending $1,000 dinners, and it's like, well, listen, you're going to have to maintain that, and that's going to be stressful. And for us, we always felt like we don't need to prove anything to anyone, and let's just, for us, we were very happy with just the traveling and not like, we don't need to fly first class to every destination. And so we invested a great portion of our money, and because of that, now we've been able to advance ourselves in life by like 10 years. We're 10 years further than we would have been had we not done all that. So I think that answers the question pretty thoroughly. Okay. Okay, what are you invested in financially? I already discussed that. The real estate, the homes that we have, it's more like we bought this real estate more for us, but it's used more for, renting it out, because of course you're not going to use 3 homes. Like, you can only live in 1 home at a time. So for us, the place in Sun Peaks, the mountain vacation home, is just for a month of the year, and so it's going to get rented out for a period of the other times. But what we realize is that these places, they don't always meet your expectations in terms of rental revenue, so don't go in with such high expectations and be more conservative about that. Okay. why aren't you selling on Amazon anymore? Because I have been there and done that. And as I said, I'm not in a place right now in my life where I need to be making money. I've earned myself. I've earned to be in this place where I can just enjoy my day and I can do what I want to do with my time. And that was the whole purpose of me working and building my business and doing what I got to do, because I always wanted to get to this place of freedom. And now I'm in this place of freedom. So why am I going to go back to the way I was working before? It doesn't make sense for me. Now I just want things to flow to me. If I'm feeling inspired to create a product and to sell it on Amazon, then I will pursue that. I have felt inspired. There's been times, I was thinking to create a pacifier product because I struggled so much with Lucas to give him a pacifier. I bought all the brands, spent hundreds of dollars in pacifiers. He didn't want any of them. So I was tempted to build a pacifier brand, but then it just didn't feel right at the time, so I didn't pursue it. And so now I'm at this place where if something is meant to be, it will not let me shrug it off. I will not settle. I will think about it all the time. I will notice it everywhere. It will come up in conversation. It will be like pounding me because it wants me to pursue it. And I'm waiting for that. And if it happens, then great. That will be my next business. And if it doesn't happen, then that's fine too, because I'm not in a rush to be anywhere else than right here in the present moment. And that's something that I've been practicing since selling my business. Is I've taken more of a spiritual path, if you will. I've been learning more about fulfillment rather than success, because I valued success for so many years and valued it above my fulfillment. And I learned how the principles of success are oftentimes not the same principles of fulfillment. And so, yes, in some cases you have to choose. What do you value more at this stage in your life, your success or your fulfillment? There's no right or wrong answer. For me right now, I'm really focused on my fulfillment. And I actually believe that by focusing on my fulfillment, by focusing on being in a state of joy every single day, by focusing on bringing my presence to the day-to-day things that I do, by focusing on my appreciation and my gratitude for what is in my life, I feel like that brings success into my life. That brings all things that are good into my life. And so I become a magnet for that which I want. And so that's kind of the place that I have found myself to be in, and I'm really happy here. And so I don't not sell on Amazon because it's dead. There's still opportunity in Amazon. I do think that if I were to start again right now with a physical product business, I would start on Shopify rather than Amazon. In the past, I would have told you the opposite, where Amazon would have been better to start with than Shopify. I think right now, Shopify would be a better opportunity. And I'm gonna update you guys with the latest things because I've been away from it for a while, but I'm gonna be talking to the experts and interviewing people and see what the latest is in the e-commerce space so that I can give you guys better advice in what direction to, point your focus towards if you are starting a business at this stage. How do you manage being an entrepreneur and being a mom? So I'll say that, my experience is my experience. I can only speak from my experience, and everyone's different. Forget about being an entrepreneur when you have an infant, when you have a newborn. The first three months, just be mom. Just be 100% focused on baby. Baby needs you. Baby doesn't understand that it's separate from you. It doesn't understand its autonomy. It needs you. And, it's such a beautiful gift to have a child and to have this experience. And I get it. It can be annoying when people tell you this, and yet you're a new mom and you're struggling and you're stressed and you're overtired and your relationship is struggling, and then people tell you, oh, but you're so lucky to have a baby, and oh, it's so beautiful, just cherish it so much. I get how it can be annoying. when you're in the midst of the struggle. But now my son is just about 6 months. He's going to be 6 months in a few days. And I look at him every single day. Like, he's like a little angel. I swear I see him as an angel. I mean, I'm biased, he's my son, but like I look at him and I don't see a baby. I see how pure he is. And I think that the reason why people love babies is because they're so fresh. They're fresh out of the oven, but they're fresh from God. They just came from source. They were just created. They haven't been bogged down by this world. They haven't been exposed to all of things that take us away from our essence. And I see that in his face when I look at him, and I see his eyes just so bright and so excited to experience life, so excited to discover, and so full of inspiration. And I see just the beauty of him. Like, he's so beautiful. He's so beautiful. And I can fully experience that now because I'm out of that really challenging time. But if you were to ask me, a month after he was born, like, I was in a really dark place. I was really sad that I couldn't enjoy him as much as I wanted to, because I was just so overtired. I was fatigued beyond belief. I still haven't slept through the night, and it's been 6 months. I just have adapted to not sleeping. But in those beginning stages, I was just so overtired, so exhausted, in so much pain, and not having any help, and feeling like I am hanging on by a thread here and nobody is helping me. And I just felt so alone, and it was a very, very challenging time for me. So at the time, it just, my mom would come over, and anything she would say, I would be on the verge of crying. Just like, you couldn't even talk to me because I'd be on the verge of crying all the time because I was so sad. I was so in so much pain. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, am I going to be like this forever? Oh my gosh, is this how I am now? Am I depressed now? And I'm so sad that I can't enjoy my son. I feel like it's been taken away from me, this pleasure of having my first child. And that was a result of a combination of things. I think it was a result of a really long, challenging birth. I labored for 40 hours. I had 7 hours of pushing, and I'm not talking about pushing on pain medication. I had 4 hours of my body bearing down every 2 minutes and pushing him out without any progress. So that was extremely hard on my body. And, I did most of the labor at home without medication. And it was the last part of it where I ended up going to the hospital, and then we tried for a natural birth, and he still wouldn't come out after 3 more hours of pushing. And then I ended up having a C-section. So it was an unplanned C-section. And then then after he was born, he had the jaundice, and just the trauma of seeing him in pain and just under these bright lights and just screaming and crying, and it was just a lot. And then I come home and I'm in pain from my C-section, and I'm getting in and out of bed holding the baby. I am taking care of him all night long. I'm going to get to how I got in shape after having the baby. But the sad thing is that a part of it is because I was so stressed and I was so incapable of taking care of myself that I didn't even eat. I did not eat unless someone fed me. So I was trying to nourish my baby, and I can't even nourish myself. So there was just a lot of dynamics at play here. And I think that it was just the hardest part wasn't Lucas. It wasn't taking care of Lucas. For me, taking care of my son was never hard. It's never been hard. He is a joy. He's actually a really wonderful baby. He's a very clingy baby. What was hard was him being attached to me 24/7. And I mean 24/7. He would sleep with me, and he would be attached to me all day long, 24/7. I call him a barnacle baby, like a barnacle, the way a barnacle is attached to a whale, because he would also be latched onto my breast like all day long. He had oral ties, and so that caused him to want to suck. And it was just like so much. But that wasn't really the hard part. It was actually more like the dynamic change in the relationship with my husband. Because it was so new for us, because becoming parents was so new, and honestly, like, we just didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, and we didn't prepare enough. It was just really hard to navigate that. And we just really struggled, and I think it's very common. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to breach his privacy. So if we do a video together where we talk about it, then I'll, feel comfortable to share more with you guys. But because he's not here, I don't want to talk about that subject without him. So, what was the question? How do you... So anyways, forget about the first 3 months, 4 months of doing work. Like, for the moms that are capable of building a business or continuing their work, like, kudos to you, that's fantastic. For me, it wasn't a possibility. Like, my son needed me, and there was nobody else that could do my job. Now I think things are a little bit easier because I do have some help. So I have hired a nana here in Panama who comes every single day. She's a cleaner, so she spends most of her time cleaning. But then if I want to go to the gym for 40 minutes, or if I want to come here and record a video, then she can watch him. So I can give her some milk and she can watch him. I have cameras in my house everywhere. I'm always checking them. And that has changed my life, because all of a sudden now I have an hour for myself. Like, it's amazing now because I appreciate everything so much more. Like, I appreciate going to the gym, whereas before I would I feel like I should work out. Like, now I want to work out. Now I want to go to the gym. Now I want to film a video. Now I want to do these things because I don't get to do them so often. And so I feel very grateful for this woman because she's afforded me this opportunity now, and I feel like she's an amazing person, and I feel like she's been, God sent me her, because I'm very protective over Lucas, and normally I wouldn't leave him with anyone, and that was my struggle for so many months, is that I didn't want to hire any help. But she's like my mom. She's so sweet and so loving, and Lucas really loves her. He's really connected to her. So I feel like God sent me her because he knew that that's what I needed. And so now I feel like, okay, I'm in a place where I can start getting back into some things for work, but I'll have to update you guys as things go along, as I am continuing to grow more into this role of mother, but continue, take on again my role as an entrepreneur and see how things go. How did you get into such great shape after baby, and what did you do to prevent stretch marks? Okay, I got so many questions about this. So I will start off with during pregnancy and before pregnancy. I've been working out for the last 10 years. So I'm not consistent every single day, but I've been, sometimes I'd be really into working out, where I would be every single day lifting really heavy weights. Other times I'd be a few times a week. But overall, over the last 10 years of my life, I have been active. I've been working out, and the body has muscle memory. I think if you are fit before pregnancy, before you get pregnant, you get into good shape so that you're healthy. And then during pregnancy, that's a really, really big key. So for myself, I worked out. I actually felt really great during my pregnancy. I had a lot of energy. I was really grateful that I felt great, because a lot of women have morning sickness. I felt very awesome. And so I worked out up until the last 2 months of my pregnancy. I worked out quite a bit. I was even playing tennis. So I was fit, and I didn't really gain. I gained, I think, I went from 125 pounds to 145 pounds. So I didn't gain a ton of fat. I think it was a lot of baby. And then what happened was, after I gave birth, because of just the series of events and me not taking care of myself, I just was not very well nourished, and the weight just fell off. And so within 2 weeks, I was down to 120 pounds. So that's 5 pounds lower than my original weight before I was pregnant. And I still had swelling, but like it was, flat, everything was gone. And so I was like really skinny, but I felt really weak. Like I felt way more weak than while I was like 9 months pregnant. So that didn't feel good at all. And so once I got back into eating healthy and, eating, like having enough meals, because when you're breastfeeding as well, you need to make sure that you're nourished so that you have enough milk. I got to a point where like my milk supply dropped a lot, and I think it's because I dropped in weight so quickly. You want to like maintain enough calories so that you're producing enough milk. So I got into eating like a lot of oatmeal cookies, and I would eat cookies and cookies and cookies and cookies every single day, to the point where now I'm actually like addicted to chocolate. It's embarrassing to admit, but I literally eat chocolate every single day. Like you wouldn't think it, but I eat a lot of chocolate. So at some point I need to like cut that out, because I know it's an addiction, but it makes me happy right now. So I'm allowing it to continue. But now I'm like, I don't even know what I weigh, but I think I'm 5 pounds over what I was like originally when I first gave birth. But I've been going to the gym. So after 4 weeks, I started doing the Bell Method workouts, where she was, that you do these workouts before you actually get into your normal workouts, just to help build some stability in the core. They're not really workouts, they're like breathing exercises to help with the stomach, because the stomach separates and it causes diastasis recti, where the abdominal muscles separate to accommodate the baby. And then after you give birth, they have to come back. And I still have a 1 finger separation in my abdomen. So when I do a crunch, you can see coning in my stomach, and I can stick my finger where my belly button is, and it goes like in. So I'm still working on bringing my abs together. So I did that from 4 to 6 weeks. And then at the 6-week mark, I started going back to the gym and doing very, very light, like body weight exercises. And like it was not consistent, because I literally just did not have the time to do it, but I did the best I could. If there was a moment I could go, I would go, because it was more for my mental health, and also so I could start to feel strong in my body again. And then after about 3 months, I started to go to the gym a lot more. And now I'm back at the gym doing like heavy weightlifting, and I'm starting to tone my body again. When I do heavy weightlifting, I tend to gain more weight though, because my appetite increases. And so I put on my fat, but I also am like a lot stronger muscularly. And so that's just what it was. It's just, I think eating healthy is a big component of it. I ate really healthy during my pregnancy. I was more motivated to eat healthy during my pregnancy than I am even now, because I was eating for Lucas. And so I was very diligent about what I would put in my mouth. I didn't even eat much chocolate, which is like never happens for me. I've always loved chocolate. But I was just really healthy. And so that played a big role in my body and not gaining a lot of weight. And even now, like most of the day, I'm eating quite healthy. But I do have my chocolate fix every single day. And also, like, I don't believe that the chocolate's going to make me fat. I think it sounds crazy, but I think the way you believe, if you believe this is going to make you fat, or if you believe it's going to make you, gain weight, then I think it will, because you've attributed a certain energy to your experience of it. And so for me, I just always have seen chocolate as a very benign thing in my life. It's always been there when I needed it. Also, like, I will say, like, yeah, I didn't just do weightlifting. I would do a lot of swimming. So I would swim a lot, I'd play tennis a lot, and then I'd do the weightlifting. And then I was also doing the Bell Method during my pregnancy, the Pilates. So on my lazy days, I would do the Pilates. And then on my days with a lot of energy, I would do the weightlifting. And that way I was pretty consistently working out almost every single day during my pregnancy. And so that was the biggest component. It wasn't as much postpartum, the exercise and the eating, as it was during pregnancy. So I think going into the second baby for myself, I want to give my body time to recover. But I will make sure, my goal is to get into better shape now than I was before I had my first child, because I think that will really help me with the second one, so that my body's strong during pregnancy, and then also will be able to rebound post-pregnancy as well. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap this up soon. So I'm gonna do a few more questions. Why do you always seem so happy and relaxed? Okay, well, first of all, I'm not always happy and relaxed. There are plenty of times where I feel sad, I'm upset, I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, you name it. Like, every emotion that you feel, I've also felt and do feel on a regular basis. And I think it's important that I feel those emotions, and I think that's why I don't stay in those emotions. So hear me out. Because when those emotions come up, because I allow myself to feel them fully, I believe that the emotion dissipates. It has its moment in the spotlight, it gets to be expressed. Because I allow myself to feel it, if I want to cry, I cry. If I want to yell, I'll yell. And I don't label anything as bad. There's no good and there's no bad. It's all just, emotions are like the rainbow. It's a spectrum of emotions, and you want to experience the full spectrum, because that's what it means to be a human being. And I think when you don't allow yourself to experience certain emotions because you label them as bad, or because they feel too painful for you, then all that happens is they just get repressed. And so you think that you're not experiencing them, but what will happen is, as they continue to get repressed, eventually, you're gonna have to express them, and it's going to be expressed in a variety of different ways. It can be expressed by you just blowing up over the smallest thing. It can be expressed in disease or illness. Maybe you get sick. There is a mind-body connection that only now they're really trying to prove with science. But 100%, the mind-body connection is real, and if you don't believe it, just think of the placebo effect, how powerful that is when people think they're taking something that's going to heal them, and they heal. And there's been countless studies showing this. So I don't get upset and then stay there. If someone says something and it just rubs me the wrong way, I might notice that I feel this way, and then allow myself to feel that way, but I move on from it. And I think that's the key, is that my purpose when I wake up in the morning is to be in alignment with joy. Joy is my purpose. I want to live in joy. There's so much joy to be experienced in this world. And so when I'm continuously searching for that, and I'm continuously trying to align myself with that, that's where I'm going to be. I think that we are not discerning enough about how we want to feel. I've realized that I have the power to control how I want to feel, that I allow myself to feel some of these emotions on one end of the spectrum, but I also allow myself to feel the emotions on the other end of the spectrum. And, frankly, these feel a lot better for me. So I'm going to help myself to feel these more often. And so my goal is to continuously be aware. Awareness is the key, because it's when I'm aware that I can notice my thoughts, I can notice my behaviors, I can notice the words coming out of my mouth, and then I can decide what I want to do about it. If I want to recalibrate, if I want to delete that and replace it with something else, I can choose, I can be deliberate about my creations every day instead of just creating my life by default. And so that's kind of my goal and my practice, actually, every single day when I wake up in the morning, is I'm continuously challenging myself. I'm saying, how can I be more deliberate today? How can I be more aware today? How can I become more conscious today? And for me, it's really exciting, because I notice myself every single day gaining more and more momentum, learning more and more, and noticing how, the more aware and conscious and deliberate I become, the more juicy life becomes, the more I notice things that are really amazing, and the more I don't allow things that used to affect me, I don't allow them to affect me in the same way anymore. They just don't. Not that I'm forcefully trying to not feel that way or trying to forcefully try to feel good. I actually just it just doesn't matter. Like I'm just not bothered by someone who leaves a negative comment. I've discovered a new level of consciousness where from that level of awareness, you see things differently. And now I just see, when people are writing, a negative comment, I just see how wow, you must really be in a place of pain or suffering in your life to be in such a negative state that you want to impose that onto other people. You want someone else to feel as bad as you feel. I just couldn't do that myself. I want other people to feel great. I don't want to be the cause of someone else's pain. I don't want to transfer my pain to someone else. And so instead of seeing just what is said on surface level, just reading the comment and taking that face value, I see more underlying, what is behind it. And that way, I just have empathy and compassion for people. And so now it's a lot harder for me to be upset. Now it's a lot harder for me to get annoyed and frustrated and offended, because I see the suffering that is underlying for all of us as humans. This is it's universal, and I'm no exclusion to this rule. There's definitely, when I'm upset and I take it out on someone else, it's because I'm suffering as well. But now I just notice it more, and so it's harder for me it's just harder to shake me. And so that's why it might seem like I'm always happy or I'm always joyful, is because I'm intending to live that way. I'm waking up and actually directing my focus to those thoughts that are pleasant, and to feeling really, really good, and to being very aware and very conscious of the things that don't make me feel so good, and to bring myself into alignment with the way in which I want to feel. And also I think another thing is that I see so much beauty now. When I snap into awareness and when I become conscious, there's parts of my day where I'm unconscious, and there's parts of the day where I become conscious. And when I'm conscious, I just see the beauty that surrounds me. And it's so hard to feel down when you are so absorbed in the beauty around you, when you have appreciation for the beauty around you. These beautiful green leaves behind the camera here, they're just so vivid and so beautiful, and just the symmetry with these leaves. It's amazing, God's creation. And you just become so in awe and so in love with life. And in that place, you're not gonna feel bad. In that place, you're gonna continue to see the beauty. And it's just, you gain momentum just the same way as that you gain momentum with negative thoughts. So that's been my practice since selling my business. I've been really focused more on the spiritual path, because it's been way more useful and transformational for me than to just build another business. I've chosen this path rather than just going into building another business. I was tempted to just go and build another business because that's what I know, that's what I'm good at. But I wanted to challenge myself and go down this more of a spiritual path, because I knew that this is what I needed to work on. And I feel like that's been the right decision for me, and it's helped me to approach life differently and navigate life a lot more fluidly, where I'm going downstream, and not much of my day is going upstream. And that's why you perceive me, perhaps some of you perceive me as being very joyful or very, at peace or lively, is because, again, that's my intention. All right, guys, thank you for watching. It's been a long video. I'm gonna get back to my little boy, and hopefully we'll be coming here again and doing some more content for you guys, and we'll see what happens. Take care. God bless.